as both Black and as transgender or trans. And yes, I'm going to talk to you today about how Black trans lives matter. I am at home with myself. My body, a sovereign country. Sovereign meaning it is superlative in quality, of the most exalted kind, having generalized curative powers of an unqualified nature, unmitigated, paramount, possessed of supreme power, unlimited in extent, absolute, enjoying autonomy, independent, royal. My body defies the restrictions of a society consumed by boxes and binaries and are you a boy or a girl? Independent of such conventions, my body clings instead to the long ago lore that understood its magic. I contain multitudes. From this supreme power to name myself, define myself, and be myself, I stake a claim to myself and organize my resistance, a resistance that boldly proclaims that Black trans lives matter. My body is a sovereign country and my first site of resistance. End scene.
Welcome back to Revolt Black News. It's David Johns continuing the conversation about inclusion and anti-trans legislation. And now I'm joined by Dylan Hughes, a student at San Francisco State University. Dylan's an extremely brave and brilliant trans brother, and we appreciate him joining. Dylan, why don't you go ahead and expand on your introduction since you can say it best yourself?
Hello, my name is Dylan Hughes. I am a student at SF State. I like to advocate for trans use as well as mental health because there was a point in time where I was very low and I was at a place that I didn't want to be. And when I found a way out, I told myself that at then and that point that I wouldn't wish this on anybody else and that I would help anybody who needed it.
And it pains me that you have to be an advocate at a point in time in which you should be extremely selfish, figuring out the ways that you want to show up in the world. What does it feel like to be living and attempting to thrive at a point in time in which there are so many pieces of anti-trans legislation being introduced across the country?
Honestly, I think it's kind of sad that we're at this point to where we have to fight for basic human rights of being treated equally just because we're different. And it's like, you kind of have to ask yourself, why do they look at us differently when we're all one thing and that we're all human? And especially, I think for myself as being youth, I think the scary part is this is what I have to grow into, that this is what I have to accept and normalize and just kind of tell my peers, oh, well, this happens every day kind of thing. And I think that's the sad part of I just want to be able to, go outside and be able to be like, oh, yeah, I'm trans, I'm open about it and fine, not have to be scared of, oh, I might get killed or beat up or anything or looked down upon even by like family or friends. And I think that's the sad part because with being trans, you feel so isolated because not everybody's going to understand no matter how many times you tell them. Only people that understand are people who are trans themselves because they know the fear, they know how alone you feel because of everything that you have to go through just to be yourself. And living in a society where you already don't feel accepted just makes it 10 times harder.
How do you have conversations with other members of our community, the Black community, who don't understand the trans experience or who don't appreciate that if you advocate for Black lives to matter, then you have to advocate for all of our Black lives to matter? What do you say to them?
Well, I kind of say to them is, why are you so quick to judge? Because especially if you're a person of color, you understand that we already struggle, that we already have to fight for our lives each and every day. And then we still have to be proud that we are Black or African American. And it's like, why are you judging somebody else? We all live in America and we all have the same struggle of fighting against the people in power. So why are we turning against each other when we can all work together to take them out so then we can make a better place for us to live in, a safer place so that our kids and their kids can grow up safe and not have to go through the same things that we went through.
What do you say to individuals in positions of power, to those who are writing this legislation to people who are vetoing it in spite of people acting on what feels like common sense and morality. What do you say to people in power who are leading with hate rather than with love?
We didn't wake up and choose this lifestyle. We didn't wake up, we didn't choose the color of our skin. We didn't choose our gender identity. And we didn't choose our sexuality. You're living the lives we wish we could. We wish we could live in that safety and with that power in our hands. But the thing is, since we didn't wake up and choose this lifestyle, we have to keep pushing ourselves to live it. With your fear that you've imprinted on us, with losing people very close to us, because we're already having to look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, why is this not enough for them? There were days in which I just wish ended because I was tired of it. But I still have to hear your words of, this is what I chose. I didn't choose to wake up in fear. I didn't choose to ask myself, is this what you really want? I didn't choose to have to go through hospital bills and things just to be my true self, because my life is already hard enough, and I have to accept myself and then deal with the people who aren't accepting me, whether that's my friends or family. So each and every day I'm losing someone. So if you don't understand, put yourselves through our shoes for a day, and you just might.
You should be doing nothing else but otherwise pursuing fun and joy and guarding your Black boy joy. What do you hold on to in order to get through?
Honestly, the sad thing to say is it's not much that brings joy, because it's hard to live with happiness knowing, that not only me, but like my fellow community has to go through this struggle. And especially in today's world, especially with technology being so advanced, you hear about everything that happens to somebody. Yeah. The basic things that bring me joy is being able to be close to my friends. And the sad part is we all live in places where our lives could be taken any day within minutes. So I enjoy my time with them because, I have to really ask myself, this could be the last for me or them. And we have to ask ourselves, how can we do this for the rest of our lives? How did our parents do it? How did they protect us even? And so now we all just protect each other. So I guess my joy is spending the time that I have with them while I have it.
We're just going to end things right there because you got me in my feelings and crying, and real men cry, so that's all right. Dylan, thanks so much for joining and having the courage to live authentically as yourself. We wish you all of the best of luck and, of course, all of the love.
Hey, y'all. Now, for full episodes of Revolt Black News, tune into Revolt TV. And if your cable provider doesn't carry it, make sure you reach out and let them know that you're trying to join the revolution. I'll see y'all every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Revolt.